My husband got a new personal trainer who texted him constantly. When I asked, he said, "She's just focused on my progress." I checked his Apple Watch messages and found a video. I forwarded it to the gym's owner, his mom, and his entire fantasy football group chat. His trainer got fired. He got served. I got closure. I didn't think I'd be the woman who caught her husband cheating through a smartwatch. But here we are. We've been married 10 years. Jake and I met in college in Greensboro, North Carolina. He was the type who knew just enough about everything to sound smart. He could talk for 10 minutes about cigars, stocks, protein powder, whatever. I thought it was charming when we were 23. At 37, it started to wear thin. We moved to Cary a few years ago. Bought a 3-bedroom house with a big backyard for our dog, Marley. No kids. That was a joint decision, and I never regretted it. Jake said he liked our freedom. He liked not being tied down. In hindsight, I think what he really liked was not being accountable. Everything started when he turned 37. He didn't say it, but I could tell something hit him. Like he woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, and didn't like what he saw. I was okay with the little belly, the thinning hair, the way he groaned when he got off the couch. That's what getting older looks like. But he panicked. Suddenly, he was all about optimization. He got obsessed with those self-improvement podcasts. You know the type, dudes with microphones telling other dudes how to become high-value men. He changed his diet, bought $200 running shoes, and joined this brand new gym across town. It was a flashy place. One of those where people take selfies in the locker room and the smoothies cost $10. He signed up for personal training right away. That's how he met Talia. She was young, fit, pretty, probably mid-20s, and always posting her clients on her Instagram stories. He showed me one once and said, "She's the best in the business." Super motivated. I smiled. I didn't feel threatened. I wasn't worried. But things changed quickly. He started going more often. At first, it was just Tuesday and Thursday evenings. Then he added Sunday mornings. Then Friday nights. Then early sessions before work. And always with Talia. He said she was flexible, always fitting him in, working around his schedule. I asked once, "Doesn't she have other clients?" And he just shrugged. Then came the texts. He used to leave his phone out, didn't care where it was. Now it was always face down, always in his pocket. But his Apple Watch? That he'd still leave around. That's how I started seeing them. "Good session today. Let me know when you get home safely. Missed you this morning." I confronted him. I said, "Why is your trainer texting you like that?" He laughed. Like I was crazy. "She's just intense about her job. She tracks progress like a coach." It's all about accountability. I didn't buy it, but I didn't have proof. And Jake could lie with a straight face when he wanted to. I started watching more closely. He wasn't just spending more time at the gym, he was spending less time with me. Meals got shorter. Conversations got colder. We stopped watching our shows together. He'd eat dinner with his phone in his hand. I started wondering if I was the one going crazy. Then came the night it all broke open. It was a Thursday. He said he had a late session, but came home earlier than usual. He went straight to shower. His Apple Watch was on the kitchen counter. It buzzed. I glanced. It was a message from Talia. It had a video file attached. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. I tapped the screen and watched. It was a 14-second video of her, standing in the gym locker room, hair wet, wearing nothing but a towel. She winked at the camera and said, "Missing our last session, already winking face, you left a mark on my thigh, you animal." I just stood there. My heart was pounding. My mouth went dry. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just walked to my laptop, airdropped the video from the watch, and saved it. Then I started sending emails. One to the gym owner, who I found through a Yelp review. One to Jake's mom, who adored me. And one to his entire fantasy football group chat, which I had access to because I helped him run it. I wrote one line in the email, Thought you should see what fitness progress looks like these days. Then I waited. Jake came out of the shower, towel around his waist, still humming like nothing had happened. I handed him a yellow envelope. He looked confused. What's this? Divorce papers. He froze. What are you talking about? I saw the video. So did your gym. So did your mom. So did your fantasy league. He didn't say anything, just stood there. Then he ran to get his phone. I sat down on the couch. I didn't move. I didn't cry. I just waited for him to realize everything was falling apart. Jake didn't come home that night. I didn't care. I locked the door and slept like a rock for the first time in months. The next morning, I woke up to a series of missed calls and texts from Jake, from his mom, and from one of the guys in his fantasy football group, Mark. Mark and I weren't close, but he had always been polite to me at barbecues and game nights. He texted, "Holy hell, I had to mute the chat. That was brutal. You good?" I didn't answer. Jake finally showed up 2 days later. I was working in the kitchen when I heard his key in the door. He looked like hell. Unshaven, red-eyed, pissed. "What the F **** did you do, Rachel?" I stood up. Calm. "You mean besides discovering a half-naked video from your personal trainer? That was private. You had no right to forward that." I laughed. "You want to talk about rights now?" He started pacing. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. My mom won't even return my calls. She said she wants nothing to do with me until I figure out what kind of man I've become. You made it look like you were." I cut in. "You don't get to play victim." Then he said something I didn't expect. She told me she was going to quit the gym soon. She said we could go public. I thought I was going to leave you in a few months. My stomach turned. "You were planning to leave me?" I asked. He shrugged. "It wasn't serious at first, but it got real. And yeah, that was the plan. I just didn't expect you to go full nuclear." I couldn't even speak. He left again, slamming the door so hard the dog barked for 5 minutes straight. That night, I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. It was Talia. Her voice was shaky. "I don't know what you're trying to do, but I lost my job. My reputation shot. My clients all left. My landlord's talking about breaking my lease. This isn't just revenge. This is destruction. You win, okay? You win." I didn't feel good about that, but I didn't feel bad either. The next day, Jake's lawyer called. Said he wanted to mediate things calmly. I agreed to a meeting. I wanted everything on record. At the meeting, Jake looked tired. His lawyer looked annoyed. Mine just looked bored. He'd seen it all before. Jake offered me the house if we kept things quiet. He didn't want any more leaks or fallout. But I didn't want the house. Too many memories in the walls. I asked for my share, and I asked for one more thing. I wanted him to admit, on paper, that he had violated our prenup clause about infidelity. If he didn't, I'd take it to court. With the video. With the texts. With the timeline. He folded. But the story wasn't over. A week after signing, I got a message from one of Jake's coworkers, Amy, a girl from his office I'd met at the company picnic once. She asked if we could talk privately. Said she didn't want to text. We met at a coffee shop. Amy looked nervous, like she was afraid someone would see her. She said, "I just wanted you to know. It wasn't just Talia." I blinked. "Excuse me?" Amy nodded. He was known for getting a little too friendly with contractors. Freelancers. Even interns. Nothing ever stuck, but there were rumors. She paused, then slid her phone across the table. There were screenshots. Messages from Jake to someone named Aaron. Flirty stuff. Dinner invites. Promises. The timestamps went back 2 years. Talia wasn't his first. Just the one who got caught. I stared at the screenshots Amy gave me for a long time. They were worse than I expected. He wasn't just cheating, he was casting lines. Constantly. Like a man shopping for backup wives. One message from Jake to Aaron said, "You're too good for that internship crap. Let me take you out sometime. You deserve real respect." Another one had a photo of a bar tab with the message, "Had a few extra drinks. Wish you were here to help me burn off the buzz winking face." It was the same pattern. Build them up. Flirt. Reel them in. Amy said quietly, "Look, I know we barely know each other, but I always felt weird around him. Just thought you should know the whole picture. And I think there might be others." I left that coffee shop feeling like I had just stepped into a life I never asked for. Back home, I dug into Jake's digital world. I knew his patterns, his habits. I still had access to one of his old Gmail accounts we used for travel bookings. I typed it into a few platforms, reset a few passwords, and hit gold. There were more messages. Not just to Talia. Not just to Aaron. But to at least 4 other women. One of them had sent him nudes. Another sent voice notes. There were hotel receipts, Uber logs, even a DoorDash order delivered to a hotel downtown with a note that said, "Extra napkins, please. Room 412. It all painted the same picture. Jake wasn't some poor fool who fell for one hot trainer. He was a serial flirt with no breaks. Talia was just the one stupid enough to send a video. I talked to my lawyer. Told him I wanted to amend the filing. He said we could request a financial audit. If Jake had used any joint funds for these little getaways, he'd owe me more than just an apology. So we did it. And sure enough, there were charges. Hotels, gifts, dinners, even a payment to a wellness retreat that turned out to be a weekend getaway with Talia to Asheville. My lawyer said, "This opens him up to more penalties. We can go to court if you're ready." I was. Jake, of course, didn't take it well. He showed up again. This time in the driveway. I was coming back from the grocery store, and there he was, leaning on his car like he was in some kind of cheap drama. "You're trying to ruin me," he said. "Is that it? You already destroyed my name. My job's on thin ice. My friends barely talk to me. You want me homeless next." I didn't flinch. "You did that to yourself." He stepped closer. "No one's perfect, Rachel. You want to act like you're this moral queen? What about all the nights I was stressed and you didn't care? What about when you shut down after your dad died? You weren't exactly a joy to be married to either. That one hit." He knew that was a sore spot. "My dad passed 3 years ago." I pulled away for a while. "I know I did. But I never cheated. I never even thought about it. You're blaming me because you couldn't keep your zipper up?" I said. He laughed bitterly. "You know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I screwed everything up. But don't act like you didn't play your part. You just weren't looking." That night, I sat with those words. And I realized he was trying to twist the story. Make me feel like maybe I deserved it. Like I drove him to it. That's what narcissists do. They burn the house down, then hand you the matches. The court date was set for late March. By then, I had already moved out of the house. Too many ghosts in there. Too many lies soaked into the walls. I rented a small place downtown, just me and Marley. The place had old floors and creaky stairs, but I slept through the night for the first time in over a year. Jake's life had crumbled faster than I expected. After the audit, his company restructured his department, which meant they pushed him out quietly. His fantasy league? Dead. His mom? Barely speaking to him. Talia? Gone. Left town. Deleted all her accounts. I heard through Amy that Jake tried going to another gym, but word had spread. No one would train with him. Too messy. Too known. I should have felt satisfied. But I didn't. Not completely. Because deep down, I wasn't just angry that he cheated. I was angry at myself for letting things slide for so long. For ignoring the little red flags. For accepting crumbs and calling it a meal. I wasn't innocent in our marriage. I did pull away when my dad passed. I got cold. I built walls. And I know Jake felt alone during that time. But the difference is, I would have worked through it. I would have gone to therapy. I would have fought for us. He gave up. then blamed me for his choices. That's what made me furious. The day of the hearing, I wore black slacks and a simple blouse. No makeup. No drama. Just tired eyes and sharp focus. Jake tried to talk to me in the hallway before the session. "You really want to do this in front of everyone?" he asked. "We can still settle." "I am settled," I said. "I'm just here for the record." The hearing wasn't long. Just enough to submit the evidence, finalize the division of assets, and confirm the violations in our prenup. The judge was stiff, all business. Jake's lawyer looked defeated. Mine looked pleased. When it was over, I walked out without a word. But the final twist came a week later. I got a call from Jake's mom. I hadn't spoken to her since everything blew up. She said, "I want you to know something." "Okay." Jake's dad cheated on me when he was a boy. Left me for a coworker. Jake saw that, lived through it. I think he just became what he hated. I didn't know what to say. Then she added, "I'm proud of what you did. You didn't hide. You didn't play it small. Most women would have just left. You held him accountable. Maybe for the first time in his life." That call hit me harder than I expected. I realized that revenge hadn't really healed me. The courtroom, the messages, the video, that was justice. But the healing? That came later. It came in small ways. Throwing out old pictures. Cooking dinner for myself. Sleeping in the middle of the bed. Looking in the mirror and not seeing someone broken, but someone awake. Jake's out there now, probably still trying to fix his image. Still blaming people. Still thinking someone else will make him better. I'm not out for revenge anymore. I got what I needed. The truth, the freedom, and the chance to rebuild this time with no lies. And that, more than anything, is the real win.